So activating your campaign, once you have your plan and you are aware of the message, you have your snippets, you have everything ready. Activating a campaign takes so much skill for it to make sense or for it to show up at the level that you want people to recognize it at. What we had to do with How Far was going on a multi-channel campaign and say we're going to activate it in a way that events are sequenced. So before the campaign launch, we had artists we actually had like a rhythm and artists going on to that rhythm. We called it the How Far rhythm. And for the first few days that we launched that rhythm, it was not launched by Zimcode. It was artists taking their music to radio. It was actually played on radio because they didn't see any harm with it, except until we launched the How Far campaign, that radio station stopped playing it abruptly, and because obviously there was fear of what the state would then say, that are you campaigning against the state? But what it already done is give a snippet of what the How Far campaign is. I remember one of the most sought after hip hop artists in Zim went on that rhythm and was actually asking, from a mere brief of, this is what we're trying to say, how would you say it on this rhythm? He asked how far Anema gets, how far Nitabuka. That would, how far Nevat, how far Nitabuka. That is street lingo in Zim to say, how far are we with water supply? How far are we with electricity supply? And people were speaking to, all we need is a life full of harmony, and people were speaking to peace. Certain artists were speaking to different things that affected them. But as we did that, we made sure that at activation point, the main activation point of the campaign was the launch that happened at a venue in Avondale in Harare. While that was happening, a lot of other things simultaneously happened to give the worth and the weight to the campaign, but also to drive the campaign in different but relevant narratives that it was difficult to then shut it down at once. And I think if you've got a campaign that is activated in the right way, you'd be able to move the right pieces on the right board.
The issue of activation, for me, I think the big lesson is that if you're not ready, you'd rather put it on hold. Do not launch until you're very sure that you're ready, everything is in place, you have clarified every part of the process, especially if you're going to run a multi-channel kind of campaign, targeting, different audience, different kinds of messaging, and the rollout process itself is in such a sequence that it has to be done seamlessly and smoothly. If you're not ready, you would rather wait until you're ready, because you're going to launch a campaign that is very flat and start on a flat tire. So it's not going to have the impact and the hype that you want. So building the hype is important when you're talking about activation. We had to identify influencers that were going to wear certain, our t-shirts with our messages. We were going to plan for the launch itself, the billboards, the social media blitz, the press ads that we had to put in place. We had to think through, the challenges that we're likely to face at activation points. So I think activation is very important. If you activate it on a low key, it's going to be very difficult to hype it. I think there are fortunate campaigns that maybe manage to launch on a low key and gain traction at some point, and other allies and the like, they catch on to the campaign and they move with it. But I think the important lesson that I learned is that launch it when you're prepared, activate it when you're prepared, know the channels, know the audience, know the message. The simultaneous unveiling creates the hype that you require, and you will not struggle. What you will struggle with is bringing it on course, than for you to say, how do we ensure that it gets the limelight and it gets the traction that you require. And parts of it, I think, in terms of activation that we learned was the guerrilla tactic that we had to learn. And I think we kind of tried to cover it. And I think it's one big lesson that we would want, those that are attending to this extra class to actually learn in terms of the guerrilla tactics that we had to implement and that we had to activate.